Star Trek Bridge Crew. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of Ubi. Soft, soft, soft. Star Trek Bridge Crew will immerse you in the Star Trek universe thanks to VR. In co-op, form a crew of 4 players to serve in the roles of captain, helm, tactical or engineer. Make strategic decisions and coordinate actions with your crew. Yes guys, if you are a Trekkie, this is the game you've been waiting. Well, if you've got VR and you are a Trekkie, this is the game you've been waiting for. This game puts you on the bridge of the USS Aegis, guys. Aegis. This ship that no one's ever heard of. It's quite a nice ship, but the problem with this is, guys, it's set in J.J. fucking Abrams' universe. Yes, it's set in that shitty one. You know the shitty one? It's set in the shitty one. You've got Star Trek, right? You've got Star Trek. The whole Star Trek. And Ubisoft have picked possibly the worst one ever. Even the original with Kirk was fucking better than J.J. Abrams' ballsack of a Star Trek. What about TNG, The Next Generation, guys? Probably the best Star Trek ever made, except for Voyager, because that has 7 of 9 with their large bosoms. Anyway, guys, they've chose the J.J. Abrams, and also you can pilot the original USS Enterprise from the 60s, was it? I don't know. A long time ago anyway. You can pilot that one, you can work on that one, but that one's hard. That one is harder. But anyway, I don't want to concentrate on that. Let's concentrate on what the game is. The game is the USS Aegis. That is the ship that you are actually piloting. And it's a mighty fine ship. It's a mighty fine ship indeed. And this game puts you on the bridge of that. And as I said in the words, you can play the captain, the helm, the tactical officer, or an engineer. All of you are on the helm. You can see each other in VR on, not like, you know, the real person. You see an avatar of that person. And everybody creates evil fucking Vulcans for so. Everybody on the board, the ship, is an evil. I'm even an evil fucking Vulcan. It's just everybody's. At least I think I'm a Vulcan. I don't know if my lugs is that big, but everybody looks evil. I don't know. There's something wrong with the character creation in this game because everybody looks like an evil Vulcan, which is a bit odd. Anyway, guys, let's start from the off. You can play this on PlayStation VR, you can play this on the Vive, and you can play this on the Oculus Rift. You can cross-play with all of these different systems as well, which is insanely good. The only thing you can't do is if you buy this on the Oculus Store, and let's be honest, why would you? You can't play with Steam VR, which is what uses the crossplay, which allows you to play with PlayStation users and Vive users, Vuve users, them users. So if you're going to buy this, get it on Steam, for goodness sake, if you've got a Rift. Obviously, if you've got a Vive, you're going to get it on there anyway. So anyway, how is the game? It's fucking brilliant, guys. It really is. And let's be honest, it's a multiplayer game at the moment. It's a multiplayer game. If you've seen any reviews of this that aren't multiplayer, don't take any notice of them because it is a completely different experience when you play this in multiplayer than it is in single player. And I've played it both. And I have to say, single player is just, it's alright. But, you know, it's nothing to write home about. It really, I mean, I'll talk about single player first and what you do. You are always the captain in single player, which is problem number 1, because it's nice to be under a captain because you can give him some shit, which I'll come to soon. But playing single player, you are the captain and you essentially tell everybody else what to do, but you can only tell them what to do in so many words. You can't fine-tune any of the stations just by your commands from the captain's chair. If you really want to avoid crashing into some things, you want to take over the helm, and you can do that by simply pressing a button and assuming the position of helm while you do a few fine tunes. Then you go back in the captain's chair by pressing the button again, which kind of ruins immersion. And all the time you know that you're just the only person on the ship and the rest are just avatars. And you know, when you're playing VR, having just computer generated avatars is pretty shit, unless it's porn. Then it's fucking great, guys. Honestly, there's this one I downloaded the other day.
and literally when it came on, there was just two fucking breasts in my face. I was just like, oh my goodness. And I was trying to reach them. I fucking wrecked my desk. There was shit flying all over the place as I went for these tits. I knocked my watch off on the floor. My mic went flying. My screwdrivers went all over. I think I spilt my tea. It was just like, I just saw boobs. There were fucking... Basically, guys, when you're playing this in multiplayer, you know them other people are human, and it's so much fun. It's literally, I mean, I went in first and I was tactical officer. I was Worf, basically. Well, obviously I wasn't Worf because that's Next Generation, which this is what this should have been. This should have been Voyager or Next Generation, not fucking JJ. But anyway, I was tactical officer, and I looked to my left and there's the guy on helm. A human. He was a console user, obviously. He was from the PlayStation 4, but you know, he was still, well, half human then. Okay, he was a half human. And then to my right and behind me was the engineer who was on a Vive. And then the guy behind me, I don't know what he was on, drugs I think, but he was the captain. And he was behind, and I was just kept looking around and wiggling my finger at them. I was like, we're on a spaceship together, aren't we? This is fucking mint. And anyway, we all died horribly. The whole ship exploded in a ball of flames. Spock, who was one of the NPCs, he burned alive. But essentially what you do, for example, I'll talk about if you're the tactical guy first. So basically, tactical guy, what he does, he's in charge of scanning shit and shooting shit, which is great fun. So basically, you go into an area where there's, say, your sensors pick up an unidentified object. You target that by clicking the screen in front of you, then you initiate a scan. If you're not in range, you will speak and just say, Captain, I'm not in range of scan, and then the captain will then tell the helm guy just over there, who heard it anyway, that we need to get closer. So he'll say, helm, take us a bit closer. So the helm guy takes us a bit closer. Then as we get closer, I'll say, right, scan initiated, and they can all hear the scan going do 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 do. Then the scan will reveal what it is and what's going down homes. And then you might get a distress from the player, or a hail from the ship that you've just scanned, or it could end up being a nasty thing and turn red on your sensors. And then I'll just be sitting there. I can put shields up, I can arm photon torpedoes, but do I want to, but the captain hasn't said shields up, arm photon torpedoes, red alert. He hasn't done that. Well, actually, that's not true, because the red alert button is right next to the hail button on, and another button on the captain's chair. In every single multiplayer game I've had, the captain's pressed red alert about 20 times when he hasn't supposed to press red alert, which is quite hilarious when that happens. The in-game chat is very buggy. I'm getting, it's kind of a nightmare. It crackles for me, and I only get half of the sentence. So the captain will say, tactical, I need you to go when we get to the planet, okay? And I'm like, yeah, all right. Don't know what the he wants us to do. And then we get to the planet and say, okay, engage. And I'm like, what do you want us to do again? So, you know. Now, obviously, tactical fires the phasers and it fires torpedoes. And to do that, you literally have power from engineering. Whatever power he sets to phasers, that will give you a set amount of bursts and a set amount of strength for the phasers. He can take power off you and you will run out of phaser. Or he can put more power to you to give you, if you're in a real big fight, he can hammer you, give you all the power, divert the power. I'll come to engineering in a second, and you have a lot of phasers. And you just simply, it's all lock on. You just target the ship, but the helm has to keep facing roughly the front of your ship to the enemy. So the helm has to be on the ball, and in the game that I was playing, he just wasn't, and I couldn't fire the phasers. The photon torpedoes have a 360-degree range. I think they can fire them from any direction, and they are homing as well, but you have to be in range. Also, tactical can fire probes, and he can energize with the beaming people up and down as well. So he has a lot of stuff to do, and it's all great fun, and there's plenty to do in the different missions. Helm obviously warps, impulses, and puts the thrusters on, and also steers the ship up, down, left, and right. He does some other stuff, but I can't remember. But you know, I'll just ring the bell and I'll get away with it. I always do. Engineering's fun. He has all the power, and he can route power to any part of the ship that he wants. He can also take power away. If the captain says prepare to warp, he has got to charge the warp coils and keep an eye on things. And he also is responsible for repairing the ship when it takes damage, and it will take a shit ton of damage. And he can assign repair crews to certain systems, and he can have some systems up before others and things like that. He can also do dangerous advanced power routing as well, which will blow the ship up if he's not careful, but you know, it's all good fun. And coming back to tactical, what else tactical can do? It can hack into the shields and weapon systems and life support and engines of enemy ships, which is really important when you're in a big fight. Now the captain's in charge of the whole shooting match. He has all the hails, he controls the viewfinder, he gets the missions, he decides where we go, when we go, how we go, who we go. And he also has the best fucking view of this tart with a short skirt just to the left of him. Oh, she has got a lovely pair of legs for a pixelated woman. I miss Ahura. I think Ahura should have been on here as well. I was looking all over for Ahura, but I couldn't actually find her, which is a bit of a shame. Maybe she's a DLC, guys. And that's the game essentially, and it is pretty much, don't buy this for single player, buy it for multiplayer. But listen to this, guys, it is getting Jarvis, I think it's Jarvis, it's getting a voice command system soon, called, I think it's Jarvis. We'll call it Jarvis or Jeeves. No, not Jarvis. We're going to call it, it's probably not. I'm going to check it out now, actually. Be right back. Right, guys, I've just actually checked, and I was right. It's called Watson. They're getting Watson, which is basically voice commands. So basically what you'll be able to do from the captain's chair in a future patch is just bark out orders to all the AI crew, and they will hopefully understand you. They won't understand me because I talk some kind of crossbreed Northern English, but if you're American, you're probably going to be fine, let's be honest. But everybody else, it'll just be, what the f*** did you just say? Now, it only has 5 missions in the campaign, this game, and each mission may last about an hour, although the one we did only lasted about half an hour, and then the other one we died after about 15 minutes. It isn't easy, it's quite hard, but I guess once you've played them over and over and over with a competent crew, you'll be able to do them no problem. It also has a random mode, but unfortunately the random kind of encounter mode tend to be based around the same type of missions in the campaign, so although the names and all that change, it isn't really that deep. There's a lot of gameplay here though, and the main thing is, guys, it is so much fun. People who say VR is a gimmick, if they played this, they would say that VR just simply isn't a gimmick. It is absolutely bloody great, and this game is fantastic. If you are a Trekkie like me, and I am a massive Trek fan, a huge Star Trek fan, TNG and Voyager being my favourite, then you're going to love this because it's a childhood dream. You're sitting on the bridge of pretty much the Starship Enterprise, let's be honest, and you can take over one of the important stations or even be captain, and you do feel like you are on board that ship. You literally do, guys. I felt like I was on this actual ship. It is that bloody good. And it is so immersive and so good. There are tracking problems with all platforms at the moment. There's bugs in this that need fixing. There is no doubt about that. Sometimes my hands don't press the buttons properly. I have to have my chair sitting in the middle of the room so there's no obstacles getting in the way. So it is kind of buggy, and I am having issues with the voice, people breaking up in the voice. But guys, when it works, and it's fantastic. And I'm going to say it's worth a buy because there's nothing like this, and I've never played anything like this. I've played Bridge Commander, which was, you know, way back in the 90s, or was it the noughties? I can't remember. And that was the best Star Trek game I've ever played. Star Trek Online was just a huge disappointment, and this is just for the win, guys. This is fabulous. So there you go, guys. Star Trek Bridge Crew. If you have the means, I highly recommend it. It is a brilliant Star Trek simulator.
Hello. Hello.
All right, lads. All right, McLeod. Fair enough. So, I'm tactical. No, he's just left. That cloud guy is just staring at me, by the way. He's looks like a psycho. I'm quite concerned. He's never said a word. He's just come in and yeah. Oh, shit. Hi, McLeod, you alright? You're not a console fanboy. Come to track me down here. Time to leave, I think. Shit. Why isn't it? I can't get out. Fucking hell. Fucking hell, this guy. He's kind of hacked into me bloody thing. Shit. I'm a cloud. Back off, motherfucker. Yeah, fucking hell.